The 6.5 is on the road at Pure Accelerate 2024 here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Daniel, it's been an exciting year. And, maybe we'll talk about the summit where the theme, because the year 2024 is all about enterprises getting that value out of AI and the continued build out of infrastructure and infrastructure platforms. And infrastructure is cool again.
Absolutely. At our 6.5 Summit, it was AI Unleashed, and the trend continues here, Pat. We are here at Pure Accelerate in your second home. I'm proud to say that, my second home's overseas, but, all the same. But no matter where we are, whether we're in Taiwan, whether we've been in Europe, whether we've been here in the U.S., AI is at the center. But I love what you said. It's not just about AI for AI.
Yeah.
It's about extracting business value, and that is what I've been hearing so far here at Pure Accelerate.
Yeah, so it's Pure's signature event, and it's my pleasure to introduce Charlie, who runs the show here at Pure, and he has been a 6.5 guest many times. Charlie, welcome back.
Thank you, Pat. It's always a pleasure to speak to you and to Daniel. Thanks for having me.
It's been an exciting couple months.
Yeah.
You had some knockout earnings. Here we are at the big event. Congratulations. And, your technology just happens to be aligning with AI. It's fun.
Well, every dog has their day, right?
Not by accident.
Yeah, not by accident.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely. Right. Congratulations on all the success, Charlie. It's always fun. We did talk to you recently at the new headquarters.
Yeah.
Good to have the chance to sit down and go a little deeper with you at your signature event.
Yeah.
I mean, look, let's just start with the kind of overview and announcements. The socials were flooded. Saw a lot of people that I respect putting some really positive feedback and commentary out there.
Yeah.
AI is red hot. What are the big announcements that we're focused on?
So there are several big announcements. One that we're very proud of is what we're calling Pure Fusion. So this is the first effort by any company at any time to make storage operate for enterprises like a cloud of storage rather than as individual arrays. Right. And in the consumer world, we now all use some type of cloud storage, right? We generally don't use remote external disk drives on our systems, right? And in the cloud, their data storage has always been virtualized. But in the enterprise, it's individual arrays on individual application environments. And what we've done now is make all of our arrays, we've networked them, they appear as a single cloud of storage in an enterprise environment. That opens up a lot of different capabilities. One is makes it much easier to manage. Two is it makes it much more economical. Three, it allows them to offer their developers cloud-like storage services. So the developers only are able to get access to storage via API. So it makes it all API-based. And it does one other thing. It makes all of the data in an enterprise stored on Pure arrays accessible to AI and analytics workloads, rather than having to replicate the data into specialized environments.
So simplicity, efficiency, and accessibility to AI, super important stuff. And it's funny, we were kind of joking about, accidentally being optimized for AI. It's anything but that.
That's right.
And in fact, I feel like Pure has been ahead of the duck in many industry transitions.
Yes.
Right? Whether it was first all flash, your design as it related to leveraging software so much, even a hardware ecosystem that allowed you to plug things in and out so you could have your base system and upgrade without actually upgrading.
Without taking the applications down. So non-disruptive upgrades.
Exactly. So none of this is an accident. But let's talk a little bit about your investments in AI to get this going, not only on the development side, but even go-to-market is important too.
Yes. Well, let's talk about, I actually break now AI down into 5 different categories. AI is not one thing, and I always have trouble speaking about AI if it's 5 different things, right?
Sure.
There's AI for massive GPU clouds, and that's all about performance, right, and specsmanship, right? There's AI for normal enterprise environments for inference and RAG, right? And making that data both accessible but also economical, right? Then there is AI for what I had mentioned before, which is making all of your data in the enterprise where it sits today,
Right.
accessible for AI analysis, right?
Yes.
Then there's how are we using AI just to improve our business, right? To increase the productivity of our engineers, of our marketing people, of our salespeople. And then there's what are we doing to put AI in our products to make our products easier to use, more effective for our customers, right? Those are 5 different AI environments, right? And so, so let's talk about some of those. As you identified, we announced a bunch of AI capabilities in our products to make them easier to use for our customers. So now customers will be able to use their natural language, a natural query, to ask what would be very complicated questions, not just about how a storage array is working,
Right.
but how their entire storage environment is working relative to security. You know, is the environment secure? Is the data secure? Have they turned on all of the right capabilities to make sure they're taking advantage of our security capabilities?
Right.
They can ask about workloads. Oh, I'm starting to see a slowdown. What's causing it? What can I do to fix the slowdown that seems to be coming in my environment? I'm expecting, for example, you know, a big surge at the end of the year, Black Friday and Christmas, you know, in workloads. Am I prepared for that? What do I need to do to be fully prepared for that surge when it comes along? And, you know, they can do this in natural language, and, you know, the system will respond to them and tell them exactly what they need to do in order to be prepared.
Yeah, there's a tremendous amount of opportunity, Charlie, and it is a little bit of a wave of customer zero, as I like to say.
Yes.
The wave is every company sort of how are we implementing AI for ourselves, and you're a very customer-forward company. You've always been very net promoter-centric, had, I believe, the highest score in the industry.
in the tech industry.
For a long time, and something that I've constantly touted that part of your low attrition, high net revenue expansion has always had to do with having really happy customers. AI, things like co-pilots, you know, which you've announced, give more functionality, flexibility, and usability, which really fits your ethos, which I think is super important. Another thing that I think is really important, though, too, is what you're doing from the data platform standpoint, right? Because in the end, AI, making it usable, valuable, comes down to the data being accessible to the applications, to the compute, and of course, having a platform that's extensible to the data that our entire environments have. Otherwise, you only get part value.
That's right.
Talk a little bit about how you're thinking about data platform today and kind of how you see that evolving.
So today, you know, customers talk about their data, but frankly, what they have now are probably hundreds of data sets, ungoverned, by the way. They make they'll replicate a data set for development or for backup, and the development will replicate it and it'll be replicated again. And you ask a customer, well, how do you keep track of all these copies? And you get a blank stare. They are not able to keep track of this, right? So simply having all of your replications occur by policy and then be cataloged and tracked helps with security, because now you know where all your data is. If it's done by policy, you're not putting copies where you don't want them or in the hands of the people that you don't want them, right? So already it starts helping by itself with security. And then if you don't have extra copies, you're not paying for extra storage for those extra copies. And so, again, it saves money. It also saves money by load balancing your data sets across all of your available arrays rather than having it be dedicated to just one environment, right? So, you know, again, I don't think you have to convince anyone that operating anything as a shared resource or as a cloud of consistent environments is more effective, more cost-effective, more secure than operating individual, you know, unique islands of in this case storage.
Yeah, it's interesting. Different strokes for different folks. You talked about, I think, 5 different AI ways and investments you're doing AI, and there's a lot of diversity when it comes to data centers and the use cases that they're leveraging your technologies. I have to ask, you said something very provocative in your Q1 earnings that I want to drill down on.
Sure.
And, you've talked about large social media companies and things like that, but you talked about hyperscaler opportunities.
Yes.
And I don't normally associate Pure with the hyperscalers.
Appropriately so.
What are you doing there? What are your what can you talk about?
What he's saying is he wants names.
Yeah, I know that.
Contract size.
I know that.
You can spill everything if you'd like
We're
for the
fine.
6'5"
Right, just
audience.
for you guys. Just for you.
Exactly.
So we've in order to people, companies that want to stay, want conversations to stay confidential. In order to keep it confidential, we limit our discussion in this area to the top 10, what we call the top 10 hyperscalers. Okay?
Yes.
And we're talking to a significant number of them. And there's like there is in any new environment, we have a lead horse. Let's call it a lead horse.
Yes.
Right? And I feel I'm still knocking on wood. I'm hoping that's wood below me. That we will sign our first. We will get our first design win at a hyperscaler this year. All right. So what does that mean? What it means is that let's call it their standard storage environment, which, as you know, in hyperscalers is hard disk. That we will get our first design win for replacing that with our Pure technology. What is our Pure technology? It's our direct flash technology, the combination of software and hardware that allows us to get the best possible price performance out of flash, and now actually be able to compete from a price performance level with hard disk.
Yeah, Charlie, that's, I mean, given the R&D budgets of the hyperscalers,
Yes,
and even their investments that they're making directly with the flash companies, flash controller companies, I think that's a huge statement.
Yes.
And basically says that what you are building is differentiated and, quite frankly, doesn't make economic sense for them to try to go off and do themselves.
that's correct.
I mean, these are companies that do their own
look,
semiconductors.
Yeah.
But
Right.
if you're one of the bean counters out there with your little spreadsheet, you do got to kind of play with what he's saying because
Sure.
when you're selling to enterprises, the size these data centers are substantial. But when you're talking about these hyperscalers,
No, many times
if you
the
look
size.
at the NVIDIA lift,
Yes.
and obviously a big sponsor here at Accelerate, but I'm saying everybody knows concentration.
Yes.
So you guys kind of have a really great situation where if you can land inside of a few of these, big up and to the right.
Correct.
Having said that, you're still very diversified because
Yes.
you've already built yourself on a core of enterprise. So
Well-
it would be a huge change for the trajectory.
That's exactly right. And one of the advantages we have is we've been developing this technology. And remember, it's not the hardware. Anyone could replicate.
You showed software.
It's all software. The hardware
Yes.
is easily replicatable, right? But the software we've been developing for 10 years, and we have economies of scale because it's the same technology that we use for the enterprise, right? Now, they may not decide to use all of our software. They need the core part that fits inside their storage environment, right? But we are now at the point, as we've indicated, for many quarters, where flash technology now at a system level can compete with hard drives, on a price per bit.
Yeah, you
And
showed
so-
that SLC,
and so we're there.
MLC. I mean,
1/10 the space,
Yes.
power, and cooling.
yes,
I mean, and now power is at a premium.
exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So we only have a minute or two left, Charlie. Really appreciate you carving out time. We know how much demand there is at events.
I mean, he only has
Always
12
fun.
more meetings after this, I think.
We're the best meeting, but
By far.
Thank you.
Oh, I said
hang on a
that-
second. Here we go.
I said that on camera. You're not going to show this today, right?
No, absolutely. No, of course not. But the one thing I did want to kind of get to is, Charlie, we talked a lot about AI.
Yeah.
I read through all the announcements, listened to the keynote. You're doing things in cyber resiliency. You're doing things in platform. You're doing things to improve your SLA. You've got all your AI announcements. Just give us the quick. You've had a lot of customer meetings. I think I've heard like dozens already in just a few hours. How are they responding to this? And beyond AI, are those announcements catching some really
They
positive?
really are. Well, first of all, cyber, is just such a huge issue today. Sadly, it's a huge issue today. So everything we can do to make our customers' data, give them the ability to recover from an incident as quickly as possible, of great interest, right? I would say Fusion is now that it's going to be delivered this year as an upgrade.
Yes.
Has captivated the audience, and they're really starting to think about data. This challenges all the assumptions that people make about enterprise storage, right? And so it's really driving a lot of creativity, I think, by our customers overall. So that's been big. And frankly, this we haven't spoken about it, but this movement, increasing movement to as a service, where what we're delivering is a true SaaS service for storage, where the location of this, where the customer can choose where the data is located, but not have to manage it at all. We do all of that, is growing like crazy, and of course, continuing to be of great interest to our customers.
Right.
Well, it's outstanding. I love the fact, by the way, the backdrop behind Charlie there. It's got that orange color. You've got people walking around in orange suits. You've got a bit of you've got this amazing
6.5 logo has orange in it too.
The logo, the
Orange is the new green, right?
We're clearly onto the cool trend.
Thank you. Appreciate
Charlie, Giancarlo, thank you so much for joining us here on the 6.5. We would love to have you back again soon. I expect that we will.
Sure.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you.
Always appreciate it.
And here we are at Pure Accelerate 2024 in Las Vegas. That was Charlie Giancarlo, CEO of Pure Storage, talking to us about not just its AI vision, but its overall strategy and how it's winning in this opportune moment in the market. Pat, we got more coverage coming here at Pure Accelerate 2024. Stay with us, subscribe, be part of our community. But for now, we got to say goodbye. See you all soon.